Well, it's that time of the week again when we get to talk about brand new VR games coming out this week, new VR games coming out next week, and of course some of that juicy VR gaming news. But before we dive into that, I want to ask you one small favour. Please do consider smashing that like button and subscribing as we're on our road to 100k, and I would really appreciate it. This is a seriously packed week, and now let's dive into the first game on the list. New VR games this week. Kicking things off, we had Of Lies and Rain drop for the PSVR 2 this week, and oh my goodness, I was pretty damn impressed. They've done a lot of improvements on this game since it's left now early access on the Quest as well, and I've got to say, this is definitely one to be picking up if you're into sort of story-driven sci-fi games, and I just think this one just kind of nailed the aesthetic of the game and definitely the visual quality on the PSVR 2. Pretty damn impressive. If you're looking for something dope to get this weekend, this is an easy recommend from me. Next up, we had Elements Divided, which is pretty fun. I managed to jump into this just to test it out for myself. Like I say, if you like water bending, air bending, fire bending, and so on, then this is probably going to be for you. I say if you like it, I mean, I don't think any of you practically have the ability to do it, but nonetheless, in this game, you will, and you can even do it in PvP as well. So definitely pretty cool and a unique concept for a game, and was a ton of fun to actually play for myself. Next up, we have one of those hard hitters this week, and that is Forefront. This is an absolute dream of a game for me. I love FPS games anyway, and the fact that we now have one that really kind of resembles that Battlefield-esque world, which, by the way, I'm loving Battlefield 6, this is really easy to recommend. The developers have done an amazing job taking this from even what we tried in the beta to the actual full release now, and this is just an absolute friggin' treat for the eyes, as well as it's super fun to blow up a building and destroy a bunch of people. So, yeah, easy to recommend. Again, definitely pick this one up. Next up, we had Laser Dance, and honestly, I had a whale of a time in this. This is a really solid mixed reality game. In fact, one of probably the top experiences we've had so far in mixed reality, and I just think that this is one of those ones, again, I think I said this last week, but it's such an easy one to recommend to you to get for something like the Christmas holidays. This is going to be a really fun one to be able to put people inside of that are going to get what they're doing straight away. It's not going to feel restrictive because you're in mixed reality, and all in all, it's just a really solid, fun experience. Next up, keeping up with that mixed reality theme, we also had Little Critters drop this week. Again, I jumped into this just to try it out for myself, and it was just super fun. This is really kind of just that fun element packaged up inside of like a bunch of little critters that you have to do fun things with. I don't want to spoil too much, but I definitely think you need to try this one for yourself. The developers really knocked this one out of the park, and again, I just think this is a great shining experience for mixed reality. It's nice to see some MR coming back around again, as it feels like this sort of middle part of this year, it really died off and we didn't see that many MR experiences. This to me, again, just an easy one to be able to say, yeah, go give this a go. Next up, we had Rush Apex Edition drop for the PSVR 2. This is like the revamped edition of this game, ready for people to go and enjoy. I had a lot of fun in this game personally. It did feel a little bit old, if I'm being completely honest, but nonetheless, it was fun to be able to get out there skydiving and, well, you know, in your little squirrel suit racing around and stuff, and making sure that you don't crash at high speed, killing yourself, which is always something that I recommend you don't do. But nonetheless, this one is pretty damn fun, but it does feel a little bit sort of old VR, and I think you'll understand what I mean if you try this. But let me know in the comments down below, if you've tried Rush, what did you think of this game? And last but not least, for the new releases this week, we also got a surprise drop for V-Racer dropping on the PSVR 2. This is such an incredibly solid bike racing game. I mean, you know, motorbike, not push bike, but this is a really solid experience to be able to play on the PSVR 2. Looks absolutely gorgeous, and not just that, it's a really solid racing game. So this is such an easy one to be able to say, if you're into your sim stuff, this is definitely going to be it. Plus it's got that added twist to it, making it just visually really pretty stunning on there as well. They've done a fantastic job of bringing this to PSVR 2. VR gaming news. Well, this week we got a lovely surprise from FlatTVR Studios as they told us about a bunch of PSVR 2 games that they've got coming out towards either the end of this year or moving on into early 2026, which is always good to see that we've got some dope stuff coming up for the beginning of next year. Kicking it off, we had RoboQuest VR, which is something we've seen a little bit about, but this game is looking incrementally better and better each time I see it. It's looking like an absolute friggin' blast to get in there and destroy just a ton of robots in really fun and unique ways. I'm actually liking the look of this one, and I've got to say the first time I saw it I wasn't that keen, so the fact that they are sort of growing intrigue in me now is a good sign, and I look forward to actually trying this one out for myself. We also got an announcement for Shadowgate VR, The Mines of Mithruk, coming to the PSVR 2. Man, this is such a great week if you're in a PSVR 2, by the way. There's a ton of cool content coming your way. But nonetheless, this is a game that's been around since I think about 2021, and it is going to be now making its way to the PSVR 2, but revamped with adaptive triggers, obviously all the haptics kicking in there, and running at 120. So this thing is going to be just probably the best way that you can currently play this. We also got an announcement that Ranger is going to be making its way to the PSVR 2 as well. This is one of the probably best examples of a new rhythm game that we've had in a while. This one you get to hack, slash and shoot and do all the fun things that make a game cool. I really enjoyed playing this on the Quest, and the fact that it's coming to PSVR 2 now as well, a massive win for the community of PlayStation players. So this one, again, we're just in a great place now with some awesome titles and not bloatware finally coming over to the PSVR 2. Next on our list of good things coming to the PSVR 2 is Out of Sight VR. This is a game that came out for PC this year in the VR space, and now it's going to be making its way over to that PlayStation VR 2. This is a really cool, unique horror game. I don't want to ruin too much of this, but you know, you can kind of tell what the theme is, I'm guessing, from seeing the trailer in the background, but this is just a really solid experience. I truly enjoyed this, and I'm not a big horror fan, and yet I still enjoyed playing this on PC, so I'm looking forward to this now coming over to the PSVR 2 because I think this is just the perfect place for it. Next up, we also have Grimm. If you're unaware of what this game is, it's basically like Rust. Now, originally this game was sort of based on Mars, where you had to, you know, fight for even oxygen and stuff. Well, this one's also had a bit of an update and I guess a bit of a refresh, ready to sort of be in a much better position for everyone to go in and enjoy. Now it's a little bit more like Rust, which I kind of like personally, as I truly love Rust. I have played that game way too much in my years. It's just in a much more solid and stable state now, with all the bugs sort of ironed out that were there originally in its early access, as well as servers just being a little bit more stable now if you had tried it before. I mean, it's such a great game that is just based on survival, PvP, and of course you get to get in there with up to 40 players, keeping it super interesting through, well, probably the dread and depressing times of getting yourself destroyed over and over again by the mean people on the server. And last but not least, in the VR game news, we also have a new VR game showcase returning on November 13th. There is going to be like 30 new games announced in this, some that you've already seen before, some that you've seen little teasers for, and some that are big updates for games that you already love and play. But there is also some listed on there that are going to be complete surprises to you guys and girls, so get ready because there's some pretty cool announcements that are going to be made. November 13th, make sure you check it out. Of course, I'll do a roundup video afterwards to let you know what we have in store and what has been announced. Coming up next week. Well, the same as last week, I get to give you a huge list of awesome games that are going to be coming out next week. I love this time of year. It's such a gift for us VR people. And kicking that list off, we have Don't Move dropping for the Quest next week. Now, this is a game that is actually really, you're not going to burn any calories in unless you're burning fear calories, because the idea in this one is to stay perfectly still while insanely dread horrible things happen around you, from giant tarantulas all the way to a shark trying to nibble on your face. This is a really fun game. I tried it on the PC and this is now coming over to Quest, so a massive win for the Quest community. Next up, we have Escape from Hadrian's Wall. This is going to be making its way to Quest and PCVR next week, and this is a sort of TCG style game where you're going to be playing with cards and then seeing your actions actually play out in front of you. Pretty cool concept. I'd really actually like to see this come for sort of Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon. Can you imagine if we could actually get a universe where that actually happened in VR? Please, someone get hold of the IPs and make that happen. Next, we have Glassbreakers, Champion of Moss. This is also going to be making its way to Quest and PCVR. This is a really fun sort of turn-based game. I actually thought this was quite fun when I played it like maybe a couple of years ago when it was in its early beta phases, and now they've had a ton of time to work on this and get it ready, so I'm looking forward to diving into this one and checking it out. Of course, I'll let you know more about this next week, whether it's good, bad, something you should purchase or something you should absolutely not. I'll let you know then. Next up, we have Hotel Infinity coming out for both Quest and PSVR 2. This one looks really fun. It's kind of like one of those sort of liminal worlds that you're going to be going through, where each door is going to be weird and mysterious and take you into a strange feeling place. Well, also on top of that, you're going to be doing a bit of mystery solving and puzzle solving along the way. Looks pretty cool, looks fairly basic on the surface graphically, but it looks like a really cool idea of a game, and I feel like you can kind of forgive the graphical fidelity of a game if you can just get into it. And this one looks like it might just be one of those games. Next is something that, man alive, I am so looking forward to, and that is Tracked Shoot to Survive. This is a full-on actual game. Oh, it feels good to be able to say that. And it's not just a full-on actual game, it's going to be one of the more intense sort of survival games that we've probably had in VR in a really long time, since probably something like Green Hell. This is going to be where you're going to be actually crafting your own bullets, you're going to be in there surviving, hunting for food, and just thriving through the Canadian wilderness as you look for your sister, with a full-on story campaign going alongside all of that experience. To me, this just sounds like an absolute god tier game. I really hope that they manage to deliver on this, as well. Genuinely, I think this is going to be a huge title for the Quest, and possibly a contender for me for Game of the Year, as long as they deliver. So fingers crossed they will. I'll be letting you know all about this next week. And last but not least, we also have Siberia VR coming out for Quest. Now, this came out for PC a little while ago now, and this is basically kind of an old point and click game that's been revamped for VR, reimagined a little bit, and brought forward into the 20th century. So it looks pretty dope. If you like your puzzle games and stuff like that, then this is going to be an easy one for me to recommend to you. I've played this game before. It's a pretty solid experience. Hopefully it's just as solid on the Quest. Of course, as always, I'll let you know next week with the games that come out. So keep an eye peeled on the channel for that, and I'll be letting you know whether it's worth it or not. Other than that, guys, that is going to be it for this video. Man, it is another absolutely packed episode of this. I really love putting these videos together. Man, I love even more putting them together when I have just so much content to be talking about, to the point where it's actually hard to be able to squeeze this into one singular video. So if you want to learn anything more about any of these games, feel free to ask me in the comments down below about something, and I can let you know whether it's good, bad, or in between. On top of that, I'd love to know what you're playing, so let me know in the comments down below what you're hyped for on this list, all of that good stuff, and subscribe, please, and like, please. I'd really appreciate both of those things. Other than that, I'll catch you in the next video. Take care. Bye!